They scream when they're cut. Only nobody hears them.
Oh, the grisly mind of the science fiction writer. Real life seems just as terrifying.
Oh, you're not still obsessed by that other business?
It needs me to read my papers firstly.
You decided not to follow it through, though, with the police.
No, we can't yet. We've got to know more.
You mean track down the other people that you think may have been brainwashed?
Some of them, at least.
And I'm not so sure about going after them alone. Val, maybe if you saw someone in authority. Well, you believe it's happening. Surely with your position at a leading university, they'd listen to you.
Oh, to a science fiction writer?
To a mathematician.
No. They'd think I was looking for a scare story for a new book. Oh, look, I'm just as concerned about all this as you are. I'll help you in any way I can. Why don't we have dinner together this evening? After I've slung this little lot at my publishers, I've got to go to a cocktail party for some visiting scientists. But I should be through round about 7 o'clock. So we meet then?
Bye, Val.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
I don't suppose there's anything in this one either.
Earthquake, a new war in the Far East. What do you want for organs?
You know what I mean.
Drew, don't let me fill every name.
Is my obsession showing?
Mr. Harriet.
Yes, that's right.
Mr. Drew Harriet.
I don't think I know you, do I?
Your name has come up in an inquiry we're making.
We? Police?
You're expecting a visit from the police?
No, of course not.
What is this inquiry?
It isn't something we can discuss here.
We're not going anywhere till we know something about it.
Quite simple, Mr. Harriet. There is an inquiry. Your name is involved. I would have thought you'd like to keep it to yourself.
Of course we do, but you can't expect ordinary people just to get up and go without an explanation.
Well, I wouldn't know about ordinary people. If you were ordinary, I wouldn't be here, would I? I knew your name, Mr. Harriet. That should tell you something, shouldn't it? My car's just round the corner.
No, wait a minute. You've got a warrant or some kind of identification. Give me a good reason why we should go with you.
Well, the reasons are all on your side, Mr. Harriet. We had hoped to spare you the watch. However, you're at liberty to do whatever you wish. This is simply an inquiry. It's in your best interest to attend. People who have nothing to hide have nothing to fear.
Well, I'm always willing to look after my best interests, whatever they are. Ham?
All right, but I don't know what it's all about.
It's a matter of national importance.
Mr. Bamer, you remember me? Tim Alloway. You helped with my articles on that Newcastle business for the Sunday Echo.
Yes, of course, Mr. Alloway. Your newspaper did me proud. What can I do for you?
It's about a new story.
Oh, not much business in the house this week?
Oh, that's for the lobby boys. No, it's not quite Westminster business, at least not entirely.
I see something in my constituency.
No, I got a tip, and so I thought I'd sound you out.
Oh, I'm flattered. Or am I?
Oh, it's only a rumour. You know how these things start, but I thought I'd do a bit of digging.
No, what for?
There's a scandal in the air, a big one.
Oh, really?
You don't know anything. I mean, you haven't heard anything, have you?
Should I have heard?
Well, Mr. Bamer, you have got quite a reputation for being, in the know. I mean, on that last occasion. I seem
What
to
sort of a
remember.
rumour is this?
Vice in top places. Corruption.
I have no information. I'm afraid I can't help you. You'll have to forgive me.
Look, all I'm asking you to do, Mr. Bamer, is to confirm or deny.
I know nothing about it. My advice to you, Mr. Alloway, would be to drop it. May I remind you, sir, that this house concerns itself with the business of running the country, not of running itself down.
Well, yes, of course, but is there a scandal brewing or isn't there?
Good day, Mr. Alloway.
Yes. Show them in.
Right you are, Mr. Smith.
Come in. Mr. Harriet. Thank you for coming. Please sit down, both of you.
this all about?
Well, your name has cropped up with others in a rather confidential matter. Last night, a young woman was murdered.
The one in the papers this morning.
That's right. In the dead girl's handbag, a diary was found. It contained names, dates, details. Your name is on the list.
Why aren't the police doing this?
The CID agreed to let us handle this. It may not concern the actual murder itself, you see. The names on this list, frankly, make it most unlikely. Except yours.
Oh?
Drew Harriet, personnel selection expert, degree of sociology, 35, Caucasian, unmarried.
Yes, that's pretty thorough.
And would you call yourself important, well-known?
No.
Then why are you on this list?
What was the girl's name?
Beryl Peters.
I never heard of her.
Neither have I.
I see. All these others, and of course this is strictly confidential.
Understood.
Yes. All the others have some claim to fame, some position.
Oh, I get it. That's why I stick out a mile. Well, I didn't know the girl or why I should be on this list.
You look at the photograph.
Never seen her before, and I think I remember her.
She's 2 years old, but a very good likeness. She gave up nightclub work and started entertaining privately as a call girl. Her diary is allegedly a list of all her clients.
I'm sorry, I can't help you, Mr.
Fenway.
I suppose there aren't any dates. I mean, we have been out of London.
Dates aren't reliable. Some entries cover 3 pages.
Well, anyway, I don't have to prove anything. My word's good enough, isn't it?
A little naive, if you don't mind my saying so, Mr. Harriet.
What else can I say? I didn't know the girl, and that's it.
I'm afraid that isn't it at all. Mrs. Harriet, you mentioned being out of London. That's why you're here, really, to help us with certain facts. You're Mr. Harriet's sister-in-law, widow of Frank Harriet, a detective in the CID.
Yes.
You lived apart from your husband, working as a children's nurse.
Yes, that's right.
You, Mr. Harriet, returned from Australia, where you worked in personnel selection for an oil company. Your brother dies violently. The pattern of both your lives altered.
We haven't done anything wrong.
But you could have known Beryl Peters. Your life isn't the life of an ordinary person. You were involved with some tearaways at Welling-on-Sea, where the local vicar died accidentally.
I didn't know the girl.
But you could have known Beryl Peters.
What does that mean?
Mrs. Harriet, perhaps you'd better wait outside.
I'd rather stay.
All right, then.
The dead girl has described you here in some detail. She says you were sadistic, sometimes violent, and that you were brutal.
No, anyone could write that sort
But
of
you
lie.
paid her well, £15, £20, so on.
Why believe her and not me?
You have a scar high up on your left thigh, Mr. Harriet, as a result of a skin grafting to your brother.
Why, yes.
It's all described here in detail. How could Beryl Peters know that if she didn't know you, Mr. Harriet, and know you intimately?
I don't know.
Mr. Fenway, Mr. Russell Bamer is here for his appointment. Yeah. I see, sir. Mr. Starrett, Mr. Bamer is here, and Mr. Fenway wants you to see him until he can get away. Yes, sir. This way, Mr. Bamer.
Excuse me, Mr. Russell Bamer.
Yes,
You're a member of Parliament, aren't you?
indeed.
You're just the person who can help. We were picked up.
Picked up.
Well, my brother-in-law and I, they brought us here for questioning without warning.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I can't interfere.
Don't you guard the rights of the individual? Isn't that what you're elected for?
I don't know why they brought you here, but I'm
This
sure
inquiry
that...
they're
Mr.
making for some
Bamer,
reason that-
please.
Yes, I'm sorry, I can't help. I have a very urgent appointment.
Well, look, please help me.
All right, then, clubs or organizations, do you belong to any?
Only the international business clubs. But you don't mean that sort of thing, do you?
Subscribe to any foreign publications? Write for any?
No, and this line of questioning is ridiculous.
If you feel it's ridiculous, you may go. Why don't you? Nobody forced you to come here. Nobody's forcing you to stay.
Clear conscience.
How clear, Mr. Harriet? You have to be one of three things. One, you are innocent. Two, you are the murderer. Or three, you're trying to bring this scandal to the public for political or financial motives. Why are you on this list?
You could have saved yourself all this trouble, Mrs. Gordon, if you'd given us the girl's address.
You don't know anything about social work, do you, Mr. Smith?
Oh, very little.
Well, it's based on confidence. Most of the girls I deal with come from broken homes. Well, love, affection, and particularly trust are simply words to them.
Yes, so I've heard.
Well, it's the truth. This centre of mine has official blessing, of course, but there are no ties, no grants, nothing like that at all. There are no forms, no inspections. The girls know that. They trust me. If I can help 1 in 100, well, that's something, isn't it?
Indeed.
So you understand why I couldn't give you Dorothy's address. When her friend Beryl was murdered, she couldn't stay on in that flat. I found her somewhere else. Of course, if you threatened me with the police, I'd have to give you her new address.
Oh, we never like to threaten anyone, Mrs. Gordon.
Oh, am I late? Sorry.
Only a minute or two. This is Mr. Smith.
Oh, they're all called Smith. I always wonder why they pick that name out of the commonest, don't you?
I've never thought about it. I suppose you don't if it's your real name.
It wasn't necessary to wear a hat, Dorothy.
You told me to make an effort, so I made an effort.
I think we better be getting on.
How long do you imagine we'll be?
Well, that depends on Mr. Fenway.
Will I be getting paid?
Well, not at your usual rates, but I imagine they'll be expensive.
Personnel selection expert. How much do you make a year, Mr. Harriet? All right, then, let's say 1,500 to 2,000. All the others on this list make twice that amount. How can you afford such expensive pleasures? You can't, can you? So why are you on this list? Beryl Peters knew that you had a scar high up on your left thigh. You do have that scar, Mr. Harriet. Yet you swear that you did not know Beryl Peters or know that anything was going to happen to her.
I've already answered all that. Now, what are you after?
Your name is on this list, and I want to know why. A public scandal could affect every one of these people, whether things said about them are true or false.
Who are these others?
Top names, every one of them. And people don't like to see our national figures shown up as lechers and loose-living individuals.
Some people might.
Yes, some people might. Some countries might. Personal blackmail doesn't concern us. Political blackmail does. All these names mean that we'll have to have a private inquiry. That's easy to work out. And you'll be invited along because your name is on the list. And you'll go to one of the national newspapers and protest about liberty and the invasion of privacy. The newspapers will start putting on the pressure. Corruption in high places, they'll say. Heads will fall. That's it, isn't it, Mr. Harriet?
I'm thirsty. Ooh, I don't like this place much. Gives me the creeps.
You wouldn't be here at all, you know, if you listened to my advice. I've tried to help you, but you will go back.
All I did was take Beryl in as a flatmate.
Well, that's why they want you to help them,
Well,
Dorothy.
I don't know anything about it. What can I do? Oh, I wish I could have a squash or something. Yeah, do you think they got the one who did Beryl in?
I don't know.
I wonder if it's the one who kept bringing her up.
Now, Dorothy, you said you'd remember his voice.
But don't worry, I'll know it all right. Oh, this stuff's cracking my nails.
Your brother-in-law has agreed to wait for a while, Mrs. Harriet, but you can go now if you wish.
How long will he be?
Oh, I couldn't say. He isn't under arrest. I'd go home and sit it out if I were you.
There's nothing else I can do, is there?
If you could go this way. We like to keep things as discreet as possible.
Got a young woman outside who shared a flat with Beryl Peters. She remembers a man who used to ring up for Beryl. That man called an hour before she was killed. Do you mind if this woman hears your voice?
I don't mind at all.
A sort of vocal lineup. Does that bother you?
No.
She's so polite, but menacing.
They say that he's not under arrest.
Still in that room. I don't know how he's ever going to get out.
How did Drew's name get into that girl's diary, huh?
I don't know. It's full of the names of important figures. It's a double blow, Val.
Undermind? They'd get Drew and discredit the others at the same time.
If the list ever became public. But a girl there to identify the killer's voice.
Oh, well, in that case, since Drew's innocent, he'll be out of there in no time.
Next.
May I speak to Beryl, please?
No.
Next.
May I speak to Beryl, please?
That's the voice, that one.
You're sure?
Definitely. That's the one who used to ring up Beryl, I'll swear.
Don't say
Of course it's them, Val. How else did this girl know about the scar? Well, they're using it against me because they know I'm onto them. And they've thrown in a neat scheme to destroy the country's morale.
Oh, I understand the national vice scandal side of it, but all this evidence against you is completely false. So obviously this girl Dorothy is lying. Maybe she's the one.
Find her. Talk to her. It's that diary that's worrying me. Possibly Fenway's under pressure.
From the police?
And the press. If our Undermind friends are doing their job properly, they'll have tipped off the newspapers about a possible national scandal.
Well, in the meantime, we're doing our best to clear you with Fenway. Anne's gone to find out what she can from the woman who came here with Dorothy Henderson, Mrs. Marion Gordon.
Hello, dear. Don't remember seeing you here before.
Oh, I haven't been here before.
Oh, come to see Mrs. Gordon, have you?
Well, I'd like to, at least.
Oh, well, she's got somebody with her at the moment.
I didn't make an appointment or anything.
Oh, well, you don't have to do that here. Have a seat. I don't suppose she'll be long.
All right, ta.
Excuse me.
I was hoping that you could help me, Mrs. Gordon. This is, and I do not exaggerate, a matter of national importance. The issues at stake are tremendous.
But I have things at stake too, Mr. Baymer.
Naturally, I'm well aware of the good work that you do, Mrs. Gordon. I know also that your husband was a noted borough councillor. When he died, you took on many of his commitments. We are both public servants.
Well, I don't ask you to betray the privilege of the House of Commons.
This is different.
No. If the girls think that I discuss them behind their backs, or let them be questioned by anyone at all.
I don't think you could say that I was just anyone, Mrs. Gordon.
I'm sorry, Mr. Baymer, I didn't mean to offend you. I know all about your crusades. I've also read about them in the newspapers.
This is something which must not reach the newspapers.
Well, Mr. Fenway assured me they were treating the matter very quietly indeed.
No, Fenway is a splendid fellow in his own way, full of zeal, but no sense of great issues. He is a public servant on a small level. We must think of the country.
Oh, dear, this is so difficult. Mr. Baymer, I simply can't let you destroy all my work.
I wouldn't do that.
You don't know these girls. If I let one of them down, the others hear about it.
You cannot set a national crisis against the privacy of one of these girls.
I can.
Mrs. Gordon, I cannot believe that. I represent the House of Commons, the seat of government. Now, you must be realistic. Do you want to see ruin and chaos everywhere?
Because I won't give you the address of one of my girls.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Fenway didn't make such a fuss. Oh, really, Mr. Baymer, I can't believe it. And I'm afraid I can't help you.
You refuse?
I've no option.
I do not intend to let the matter rest here.
Then you'd better talk with Fenway. I'm not prepared to give you ammunition for a public scandal.
This time I am trying to prevent one.
I'm sorry. Politicians, in my experience, can't keep out of the newspapers. I'm determined to keep these girls of mine out of them. Good day, Mr. Baymer. Expect me just to hand out addresses and phone numbers of the girls like that.
We know that sort. If that's what he wants, he should go and read the advert boards outside some of those paper shops.
Well, that's not quite what he meant.
Oh, this is Anne Johnson.
Oh, Mrs. No, don't get up. What can I do for you?
Well, I don't know, really. One of the girls told me about you in this place. Thought I'd come and have a look.
Well?
Oh, don't know why I came, really.
You're not in any trouble.
What? Oh, that. I know a bit better than that.
And you're not ill in any way?
No. Oh, no, of course not.
Well, do you want me to find you somewhere to live?
Oh, I've got a place near here. It's not bad.
And that's where you work?
Well, if you put it like that.
Are you, on your own?
Well, I don't have to, pay a landlord. Just pay my own rent.
Oh, good. I don't enjoy having to deal with pimps. What's the matter? Are you surprised that I know the word?
Oh, no, don't suppose I should be.
Let's go back a bit. What did you do when you left school?
I worked in an office. Then, Dad died and Mum married this other man. Well, I couldn't stay home anymore, so I thought I'd get out and see what life was like.
Your stepfather?
Yeah. And I thought he was God's gift to Mum and me. Well, Mum found him in my room one day and then it was all roused, so I cleared out.
Well, what have you come here for, Anne?
Well, like I said, I don't know, really. You know, a girl in the same house as me, well, she's 25 and she looks about 40, and I thought it could happen to me.
You're right, it will happen. I'm glad you realized it.
You said you fixed up jobs and things sometimes.
Yes.
And that nobody would know anything about me. I mean, like what I'd been doing.
Come into my office. Now, your name goes in here with the others. And no one knows any more about you except me and my secretary, Joan, outside. The mean changes. No more going back. It won't be easy and you won't make much money.
Oh, saved a bit.
I suppose you haven't got anyone else living in London, a relative you could stay with?
No, I've got a brother-in-law. He's in prison.
You mean I can go? Walk out?
As you walked in, Mr. Harriet.
Well, am I cleared or aren't I?
Goodbye, Mr. Harriet. You can find your own way out. Smith, keep a close eye on him.
Flaming awful, isn't it?
Oh, it's not bad. We'll soon have you doing the flying fingers bit, ready for a job.
Can I practice some more?
No, you better go and have some lunch. And don't dilly-dally on the way.
You sound like a policewoman.
I was. How are you for money?
I'm all right. Tough.
Will you be back this afternoon?
Okay.
You girl gone?
For lunch, she says.
Do you think we'll get her off the streets?
Oh, yes, I'm sure we will.
Well, what makes you so certain?
Well, she isn't really the type.
Well, there's no Dorothy Henderson in the phone book. Too much of a long shot. And she's our only lead.
She's on Mrs. Gordon's files, if only I could get a look at them. There was something the secretary said about looking on notice boards outside paper shops.
That's worth a try.
Oh, there are lots of boards. Not that I make a habit of them.
All right, I'll take the notice boards.
Well, what about Russell Baymer? He's the one I don't understand.
For all we know, he just stumbled across this business. He's an MP. Maybe he's trying to make up his mind whether to bring out the scandal or suppress it.
Maybe his name's in the diary.
It hasn't broken yet.
I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
don't know what you're being so secretive about.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, you and I have worked together before.
I have given you leads when I felt that the press or the public had a right to know.
I'm very grateful
But
for
I
that.
will not be badgered. Is that clear?
Look, everybody knows there's a big story going around. They're even making jokes about it.
I never listen to jokes. Good day.
Your name isn't Dorothy. All right, I'm sorry.
There you are, love. Come on then, time to get your clothes off.
Flesh peddler.
Oh, my feet are killing me. You look tired.
I went to a party last night, didn't get in till 5.
Oh, yeah.
Oh dear, look at my eyes, just like cold fried eggs.
Oh, well. Hello.
Can I speak to Dorothy, please?
Yeah, this is Dorothy Anderson.
Oh, I saw your name on a notice board outside the paper shop.
Oh, that card. Well, I'm not doing
You know
that.
who this is?
No.
Well, you ought to. This is Drew Harriet, the one whose voice you said you knew so well. Look, Dorothy, there's been a mistake. I must talk to you. Where are you?
Hello?
Oh, well. Come on, speed it up. They'll be getting impatient.
All right. Hello, Blue Sienna? Hello there, please.
Right, time to open up shop.
Okay.
I'm a reporter. You are Dorothy Henderson, aren't you?
Yeah.
Good. How much do you want for it?
Oh, you're not very subtle about it, are you?
You know what I mean, the list.
What list? What you talking about?
I had a phone call. You've got the list.
Look, I've got what list?
A copy of all the names in your friend Birdle's diary.
I didn't even know she kept a diary. And where am I supposed to be keeping this list?
The person who phoned me told me that too, just in case you pretended you didn't have it. In the locker that Birdle used when she stripped here.
Oh, I didn't know that was there, and I went all through her things after.
Well, it's there, all right. Let's have it.
Oh, just a minute. Wow, this is dynamite.
Worth a fortune. And I can get it for both of us.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll fix up my own deal, thanks very much.
Don't kid me. No British newspaper's going to touch that, you know. They wouldn't dare. But the foreigners would. French and the Germans. And I've got all the contacts.
Oh, yeah. You look like one of the international set.
Like water off a duck, love. I might get 10,000 quid.
What, for this?
Yeah. Here, let's have a look.
Here, give over. 10,000 quid, are you joking?
Wouldn't be less. Might be more. Depends on the stuff. Now, you've got the material. I can sell it. Now, come on, how about it?
Oh, I'll have to think about it. Look, I'll want her a letter or something from you, you know, signed and everything.
All right, you'll have it. And you can trust me.
You're kidding, of course. Look, I have to go now. I'll be finished soon, so we'll have a chat then.
All right, love. I'll go round the front and keep an eye on you.
Yeah, I bet you will.
Don't worry. I'm a married man.
Mm.
Beryl Peters was just a pretty girl. Average figure, average looks. 3 convictions for soliciting. Doesn't sound like the sort of a girl people have affairs over. Not these kind.
Oh, the details are all there.
Yes. Follow my thoughts, Smith. Either Beryl Peters wrote this diary the truth.
And the murderer didn't take it. Well, I doubt that.
Yeah, so do I. All right, then, Beryl made up the diary for some reason or the other. Money, whatever you like. Then she's murdered so that the diary will be discovered.
Possibility.
Or lastly, Beryl Peters is murdered. The diary is planted on her. A diary cooked up to ruin all these men.
You want me to get a handwriting expert on it?
Yeah, put him under the official secrets. And I want the information first. I can't hold off the CID much longer. Oh, what about Harriet?
Oh, he's still running around after Dorothy Henderson. I put Draycott onto him. And it's no fool. He's already found out where the Henderson girl's working.
I see.
Bamer.
It's a disgusting lie.
You've never been to the Blue Sienna Club in Little Venice.
Who are you? What right have you to come to my place?
trying to help.
Don't interrupt when I'm speaking. You realize that this is libel, don't you?
The greater the truth, the greater the libel, do you mean?
No point in tearing it up, is there? You have copies, I suppose.
If only you would believe it.
All right, how much? Come on, how much
We're
you
not
want?
trying to blackmail you,
For
sir.
heaven's sake, I was in with Fenway for hours myself. I'm in that diary too, Mr. Bamer.
You're in the diary.
With one difference. What it says about me isn't true.
Why did you come to me?
We guessed you were one of the names. You were seeing Fenway about the same time I was. You went to see Marion Gordon to find the address of a girl called Dorothy Henderson. Then I saw that drawing. If you knew where Dorothy was working, why did you need to go?
I wanted the address of her new flat. I dare not go to that club. I couldn't even phone there in case Fenway had the place tapped.
Why were you so anxious to get in touch with her?
I wanted to send her away. I have a villa in the south of France. Dorothy liked it there. I used to take them all there.
Oh, look, Mr.
It's
Bamer,
none of
you-
our
I
business.
am not ashamed. I work hard, I relax in my own way. I pay for what I enjoy most because it's the only way. But I'm mortally afraid of public opinion.
Do you believe Dorothy wrote out that diary?
No, nor did Beryl Peters. You won't understand this, but both those girls made a point of secrecy, discretion.
So the diary was planted on Beryl Peters.
Yes, and I was set up as the murderer. Whoever wrote that list chose me as the suspect. Put in your name, Mr. Bamer, because they'd found out things about you. And 10 to 1, the rest of the names were just included for scandal value.
Yes. Who? Now, look here. All right. Yes, 10:30. A freelance journalist that I'm acquainted with says that he knows about me and Beryl Peters. Mentioned something about foreign press.
Yes, just what I wanted. Goodbye.
Medical report here on Wirral Park.
Oh, that's interesting. Number 8 on our list. Major General Arnon is not in Britain at all. Hasn't been for 8 months.
Oh, he's listed at the War Office as being here.
That's a blind. He's out east. Naval base commander's defending Malaysia or something. The point is, Beryl Peters couldn't have known Arnon. He's been in Berlin for 2 years, home for 3 days, and sent off to Malaysia.
Wirral Perkins, the
Wirral
minister mentioned.
Perkins, Wirral Perkins. Oh, yes. The diary said he had to wear feminine silk underwear.
He has a genuine skin allergy to anything but cotton or wool.
Any job, Smith. Well done.
You're just lucky.
There are 20 names. 2 of them are absolutely clear, but most of them cannot produce cast-iron alibis or defenses. Whoever wrote this diary didn't know about the Major General being overseas, a military secret, or Wirral Perkins' skin allergy, a medical one. And the handwriting expert is willing to swear that Beryl Peters did not write that diary.
Yeah?
Oh, I'm damn sure this scandal is the biggest hoax since the pig down there.
What about Harriet? The scar. The Henderson girl identified his voice. And Russell Bamer.
Yes. Fenway.
Must have set you back quite a bit, all these.
Do you mind if we get on?
By all means. Of course, I'm being very careful. I don't want you to get any wrong ideas, Mr. Bamer.
I haven't.
You see, I suppose we both serve the public like, don't we?
With different ideas about the meaning of the word service, perhaps?
Huh? Oh, yes, we might differ a little bit about morals.
If you have any information to sell to a newspaper, sell it.
Publish and be damned, eh? Well, that's all right, like, when it's just you the information's about, but the trouble is, all these other people. I mean, I suppose we've got to find out what's really good for the public, Telling them or not telling them.
And the money that you'll get from the foreign newspaper isn't important.
Oh, yes, that's right. Of course, I do get paid for revealing this information, don't I? Maybe £20,000 with syndication.
It's a lie, every word of it.
Now, there are 20 people named on that list. I haven't checked on the others yet, but it is true about you, isn't it, Mr. Bamer? Hmm?
How much?
Well, I thought that if you all got together, like, say, £2,000 from each name. Well, that's not so much, is it?
I won't do it.
Oh, yeah. I think you'll pay, Mr. Bamer.
And I think we've heard enough, Mr. Alloway.
Well, just a minute, what's all this?
Just sign this.
Oh, you just can't come back.
every word.
Just sign that, will you?
Oh, you can't frighten me. All I was doing was very fine, checking how I was trying to trap him into a
You were
confession.
trying blackmail.
Now, listen, my editor...
You don't have an editor. You've been chucked off 3 newspapers, now you pick up a few quid from gossip.
What right
You're
have
in
you got...
serious trouble. You better sign the document.
Oh, no. I'm not putting my name to any phony confessions.
All right, we can hold the case in camera. You'll go to jail for years. Just want your signature.
And what is it?
Your only hope.
And I want to read it.
Smith.
I, Timothy Arthur Ellaway, bind myself not to speak, write, allude, or communicate to any living person any facts, comments, opinions, stories, or hearsay about the individuals listed hereunder.
Oh, I don't think I mind signing that. Under duress.
I don't care how you sign it. You just committed yourself to the Official Secrets Act. You'll now be taken away and charged with the contravention of that act and held in Brixton Prison
Well,
until
you
our
signed the damn
inquiries
thing.
are
What are you
over.
talking
The
about?
document was dated yesterday. Your talk with Mr. Bamer is a crime against the state.
You can't hope to get away with a trick
I
like that.
think it'll do, Mr. Bamer. It'll frighten Alloway.
It's not right. I won't let you.
Mr. Bamer, you've been in a lot of trouble. Don't start preaching principles to me. Just be thankful Mr. Harriet had sense enough to persuade you to call me. We'll let Alloway go in time.
Maybe other lists.
They'll be dealt with. But I'm not a magician. I can't go on pulling rabbits out of a hat. You're a potential blackmail victim and an MP, and I'm not the slightest bit interested in the way you conduct your private life, but I do know the two don't mix.
Is that an official warning?
No, very unofficial advice. Do something about the one or the other. And one day I may have to.
I would quite like to know how this thing ends. I would also like to meet you again.
I hope we never meet again. Now I am speaking officially.
No, I meant off duty.
I'm never off duty.
So, Alloway's been arrested. Well, that's how things stand at the moment. But I'm seeing Drew at the pub in about 10 minutes' time. He's had a call from Fenway about Bamer. Have you had a chance to talk to Dorothy yet?
Not yet. I'll try again later. I've had to take a job as a stripper. But I don't have to sit there, am I, altogether? Look, I better go backstage and look as if I'm leaving.
Oh, good luck.
What do you want then? Well, I haven't seen you for some time, Christine. I wonder how you were getting on.
All right?
You told me you've given up.
Oh, look, don't start on that. I'm just sitting here having a drink, aren't I? Leave me alone.
You shouldn't be alone in a place like this.
What? Oh, do me a favour.
Christine, I'm only trying to help you. Well, what happened to you? A month ago, you had a good job.
What, 10 quid a week?
You said you'd give it a try.
I tried it. Oh, it was lovely. Oh, you should have been there in that packing department, Mrs. G. You'd have been very surprised what the manager wanted for his 10 quid a week.
But they're not all like that.
Look, they're all the same. I've known more men than you've had hot dinners, dear. Do you mind if I leave now?
Oh, Mr. Harriet.
Oh, Mrs. Gordon. This is Professor Randolph.
How do you do?
Hello. Do you mind if I sit down for a moment?
Please, can I get you a drink?
No, I won't just now, thank you. I'm glad everything turned out all right for you.
Oh, he's a friend. He knows all about it. Yes, Mr. Fenway decided he was finished with me.
Oh, good.
You look a wee bit upset.
Oh, it's nothing. Well, I say nothing. Life's just a mixture of hope and disappointment, that's all.
Ah, the girl you were talking to just now.
No, oh no, she's a lost cause, I'm afraid. No, this is another one, Anne. I just learned she's taken a job posing nude at the Blue Sienna Club.
Anne is not one of your girls, Mrs. Gordon. She's my sister-in-law.
Come on, love. Get your things off. The manager's just had a call from Christine. She's not coming back, so you'll have to strip and make your debut.
Dorothy!
What?
I didn't come here to strip. Alloway's been arrested.
Oh? What do you know about him?
He went to see Bamer.
He went to see... How do you get to be knowing friends of mine like Bamer?
Friends? Do you usually go around blackmailing your friends?
Blackmail? Now, look.
What did you do with that man, Ella? You told him where to find Bamer.
No, I might have let him have the list.
But you wrote in the first place.
I wrote? I did not.
If you didn't write that list, who else knew about Bamer?
Are you police?
No, no more than Mr. Fenway's sort.
Oh, you're one of that lot. Well, you can't do anything to me, mate.
Blackmail is police business. All I want to know is why you wrote that list.
I didn't.
You were the only one who knew about Bamer.
No, I wasn't. Look, Bamer got me into trouble, see, and then he went abroad and left me right in it. Well, I had to do something, and that meant money.
So you went to someone for help and told them the story?
Yeah.
Who was it? Well, it doesn't matter anyway. I don't believe a word of it.
It was Joan Cooper, Marion Gordon's secretary.
This is a standard interview between employer and prospective employee. There are 3 candidates for the job, A, B, and C, whom I call Alice, Beryl, and Carol.
Beryl, what are you doing here?
I know who murdered Beryl Peters.
Joan Cooper.
Yeah, and when I told her, she dressed and went out of here double quick.
She'll have gone to the pub to meet us, Drew.
And not finding us, may have gone on to Marion Gordon's place.
Wow.
Whom I call Alice, Beryl, and Carol.
There, you see?
Yes, the name Beryl. Come into my office. We must talk this over. I still can't believe that Joan...
Dorothy said she told her about Russell Bamer.
Oh, I can see how she might have done it. She took bits from Mr. Harriot's tape.
Yes, edited it, made up some sort of sentence.
Can I speak to Beryl, please? Well, that's what they asked Dorothy to listen to the men say in the lineup.
You must have known Dorothy would answer the telephone. She must have been sure Beryl was out.
What I don't understand is why Joan should do it.
To discredit Bamer, a watchdog of public morality, and incriminate Drew as well.
But that's an absurd story.
It sounds absurd. See, Joan is one of a group of, I nearly call them people, of things whose purpose is to destroy our society.
Have you told the police this?
Do you think they'd believe us?
And you're fighting these mysterious people?
Well, we're trying to. Joan was in a very good position here. She had access to all the secrets of girls like Beryl and Dorothy. She had every opportunity to use them. You see how extraordinarily clever they are. It's like a disease of the mind.
No, not a disease. A new dimension. If you were found murdered here, they'd still accuse your brother-in-law. I only have to say that I saw Drew Harriot running away. That I found you murdered in the same way that Beryl was. I know exactly. It's no good fighting us, isn't it? No. You don't know what you're fighting. Stop.